Hello, everyone. Hello. We're so excited that you're here. I'm Mia Saenz, and this is Lori Montry. And we're really, we're excited. Everyone. Hello. Let me see. I think I have my background going on here. Yes, I do. Okay. All right. So we're really excited today because we have a very special guest who has a very special dream, desire, project that he's working on. And I'd like him to tell you, his name is Tony Whitmore, and he's doing a documentary. So Tony, we love to have people share their ideas besides you've come because we're going to do some coaching in the hot seat, but also the idea of this documentary is a dream that I love because it shows people that we can dream outside of the box. We can dream anything we want. So will you tell us how you got started?
Certainly. Little background about me. I was a lifeguard for Los Angeles County Fire Department for 37 years and concurrently worked as an emergency medical technician on movies and television. When I first saw the film Step into Liquid, my question was, who made these surfboards that Robert August or Dale Webster surf? Dale surfed every day for 40 years, and I wanted to know what was beneath their feet. So that idea just sat with me for quite a while. And most recently, I've decided to make a documentary entitled Surfboards, The Artistry of Shaping. And that is my dream game that I'm playing, is to make this documentary via interviews with shapers and seeing what they create, and also see that functional piece of art in the water and how it performs and what the shaper brings to it in relationship to the surfer who's going to be utilizing it.
It's amazing. Isn't that amazing, Lori? I love it.
It's incredible. Well, first of all, the fact that I did not know, right, that the shape of a surfboard was so instrumental in how it performs and how it moves through the water. I would have thought, like, yeah, they're pretty much the same. It makes sense now that you're saying that, like, of course, but for you to focus on, like you said, the artistry, right, the craftsmanship, and really bring that forward. So it's something that not only kind of, lights you up, but it also really celebrates these people. At the same time, you're celebrating your interest, your talents as a filmmaker, right? As a question asker, you're celebrating that aspect of you, but you're finding that it's also bringing out the beauty of these artists who are kind of, in my mind, probably a little bit unsung, right? I mean, the surfer gets all the glory, whereas, the artist here of the surfboard probably should really be part of that equation.
Yeah, the question, what came first, the surfer or the surfboard? Surfboard, somebody, the ancient Polynesian, someone cut down or found some log and they did something to it so that it would hold them up in the water. And I think that was what came first, was the board had to be shaped for the individual to get up on it.
Yeah.
Even if it was a natural board that was just specific, nature created it. Yeah. Amazing.
That's cool. So obviously this is not where you had some, obviously some experience in film and some background knowledge, but this is certainly not what you've been doing your whole life. So tell me a little bit about that decision. Like, I'm going to make a film. I don't know, maybe you did feel like you had a lot of information as far as how to go about it, but you probably had to gather a lot of information and dig a little deep into, what does this process look like? How do I go about creating it? Can you tell us just a little bit about that? I'm very curious to know how that process happens for people.
Yeah. I've thought of my employment in the motion picture industry as now 25 years of film school. So I'm familiar with the production of scripted uh, products, but the documentary side of things is something I'm a little familiar with because my grandfather was a member of the Academy in the documentary committee. So I have a little bit of knowledge of that, but producing a documentary is quite foreign. And I've learned that a big part of it is the interviewer, which I've been on the interviews that I've produced so far. And it's a learning curve to be an interviewer and to be a successful one. So I've watched a lot of content to see how it's done, and I'm very grateful that I've got a willing cameraman and other crew to help out in that respect. And the
Yeah.
project is to see and meet a diverse community of shapers. That was something that I was also struck by in Step into Liquid, that there was no diversity. And what I'm looking for in this film is to have diversity, to find female shapers, shapers of color, and to be able to, excuse me.
Yeah. I love that. And you're,
File their stories.
What was the last part?
I'm just excited to profile the stories of people that haven't been heard or seen, and
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
emotional to me.
it is emotional.
Absolutely. And
So
I
this is
just want to
more-
thank you for that work. We all need to show up in that space if we're going to change the way the world works right now. So I appreciate you just, that you are using your time and your creative passion to do that as well, right? So there's just so many different facets of things that are getting satisfied through you following your vision.
Yeah.
Mia, what's coming up for you as we listen to this inspiring story?
Well, there's so much that goes into creating. I love big things like this, and so there's so much of what goes into it that the average person doesn't even know, or the creator doesn't even know yet. So we have to look at what's the fear level here and how to keep those thoughts away. You'd probably have to look at, I think probably one of the fearful things would also be the finances, because everybody wants their stuff to be able to move smoothly and keep being produced. So that would probably be a fear factor. Are there other fear factors that, and I know that term fear factor is from a show, but are there other fear elements that come up that try to that do try to rear their ugly head to stop you? A lot of what we do is we talk about how to keep the nervous system balanced so that we can create and we can keep moving forward. So I know that when we have a love project like this, or a project that's so passionate that we just have to do it, there's more of that than fear or anything else. But what thoughts or what ideas do you have that do bring you fear about this project? And I'm not saying that it's not going to get done, because it's smoothly moving forward and it is going to get done. I just would like to know what areas try to stop you.
The areas that try to stop me are when I have, as a backstory, I've created questions to use as a framework for the film, as well as a casting tool, because it asks questions of shapers and it will bring out their stories. So I'm looking for those compelling, relatable stories. And the questionnaires have been going out to various shapers that I've found via social media. And what's a stopper is when people will respond that it's really fascinating and they will complete the questions and then not hear back from them for a period of time, or someone who responds with, this is really meaty, I'm going to need some time to complete this. And those become bumps in the road. I would like to get as many casting possibilities and story possibilities as possible. And so when those don't happen, I get a little concerned that it's not going to roll smoothly as I dream.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Do you keep things on a like on a schedule, like the person where they're at in the process and how to keep moving through it?
No,
Okay.
I will readily admit that I am not a detail-oriented person. I'm
Right.
I'm a big picture person. Here's the idea for this film.
Right.
Let's
You're a creator and you yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
And you'd like to sit on that board for creation, right? I get it.
right.
Lori?
Yeah.
You have-
Couple things, and when we look at these questions or what we might perceive as stumbling blocks, right? We look at it from two directions. One is what Mia's saying, let's see what are the actual tools that we could use in order to solve this problem in real life, right? And so recognizing beautiful artists, people sometimes with the big idea, they will say that, don't you think, Mia, that so many of them will say, well, I'm not detail oriented, that kind of thing. It doesn't really occur to me. It's just, I have got all of my energy and my life forces going into this creative aspect of the creating of the questions, the how do I draw out their stories and stuff like that. The spreadsheet over who I sent it to, the date, their response, and how I'm going to follow up. I mean, come on, there's not a whole lot left for that, or it's so draining that I don't want any piece of it. But that's exactly, like Mia's saying, we look at it from the two aspects. What is the actual practical solution, right? And sometimes we don't see that as clearly because we're in a place of concern. We're like, oh no, everything is resting on this very thing, on people filling this out and getting back to me. If they don't, then, it's all going to fall apart. And so that fear around it shuts us down, right? It literally takes us out of our brilliance and puts us into our survival brain, which says, freak out. Because when you freak out, we have a better chance of surviving this moment, not soaring through or thriving through this moment, but surviving, right? And so that's when we want to step back, when we see these challenges like this from this is practical, right? This is not, in my mind, I have, a remembrance of something that didn't work out in the third grade and it's plaguing me now. Not that anything's wrong with that either, because that does happen and we definitely work at this. But what you're saying is this is a real thing. This is, actually, if no one turns this back in, then I don't move forward, right? In your mind. So it's about recognizing when there's these concerns can literally shut us down to how we solve our problems. And so I love that you're here. I love that it's a calm space, hopefully, where you feel some support so that we can, explore those ideas together a little bit. And also for you to say there may be some areas of this project where I'm going to have to recognize my skills and call in the people with the skills that can handle these little things so that I don't have to divert my energy, which is going to the brilliance of the project. Not that their role is insignificant or, unimportant. It's just, this is in this particular project, this is where I want to put my energy. Me and I have the same thing where we're like, I don't want to think about landing pages. I don't want to think like the content, yes, because we want to express, but there's just certain aspects of technology that really drag us down and eat up the energy that we want to be putting into people. And so recognizing that, we're like, okay, we need this help. And so we need to find you somebody who will be the one to create a spreadsheet and do the follow-ups and ask, and maybe even see, like, maybe there's a question or two, like if you're really stuck on this question or something, I can have a conversation with you and talk you through it, and you could just talk to me. There's so many different creative ideas. Maybe your best interview is going to be somebody who just despises the writing down of these questions. And you're going to find them because they were willing to, get on a 15-minute call or whatever it is. As we're exploring this kind of practical side, and then there's another side that we can talk about, but as we're exploring this practical side, is there anybody that you can imagine, or could you imagine just kind of opening yourself up to the idea that there may be someone who kind of even an apprentice kind of thing that would be interested in helping you kind of keep track of that and just moving the interviewers into the responsive space, or finding out what they need in order to be more responsive to you. Does anyone like that kind of either pop up, or are you feeling an openness at least to entertain that would be a helpful solution?
Oh, absolutely open to creating a team. I don't have anybody that comes to mind.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking, and that's, when we've got this dream, and, sometimes it's hard there's no one in my immediate circle. So that's not a possibility. But at the same time, I see how your project is feeding the world. Literally, it's feeding everyone who's going to witness it, right? But it's also feeding the people, the beautiful artistry. So it's creating so much love around that. It's just like you said, you want to highlight and give voice to people who have not been, that hasn't been available to them. And the surfers, is just so many ways. And can you see, or are you open to the idea that the person that you could find to bring in to help you just with this one aspect, managing the interviewees, how that could feed them so much? This person could be like sitting there right now, like Mia and I's favorite quote that we to say out all the time: what you are seeking is seeking you. So there's literally somebody right now saying to themselves, how could I ever find out anything about making a documentary or being involved in a film or whatever? I just wish, somehow, some way I could, take that first step into understanding anything. I'd be willing to do anything. Like, that person is there and needs you just as much as you need them, in some way. And it may be for some other reason. And maybe this person is, I don't know, somebody who just really needs a job for $500. And, I don't know. It's not for me, it's for the universe, right? To create this. But as long as you are open to it and kind of seeing that as a possibility, then it's going to happen. Yeah.
I'm seeing the intake or the questionnaire. You can have on there in your letter to them with the jot form or whatever way you're providing your questions, put on there, if writing's not your thing, let's hop on the phone. Because you can quickly cut through that stuff that they're taking weeks and weeks upon. You can quickly cut through it with a phone conversation with somebody who is able, to do the writing. Because we don't know what stops humanity from coming forward and doing anything, right? Everybody has their own story, their own issues. And so one way would be to do that. I believe that you would be the one that should be doing the preliminary interviewing, but your assistant who holds all the information, you'll write down your stuff, so you'll have it all queued up when you go in to interview them, and they'll keep track of how many interviews, what stages the process is along. It's a really lovely thing when you can create like this. It's really a beautiful, powerful thing. And anyone who has that desire to step forward to be a creator like this, it's pretty powerful. It's very within yourself. The strength that you get after you've completed each and every step is brilliant. I know that you also have a GoFundMe. So how, a lot of people are afraid of money. How is that working for you? Do you have fears around that? Because you are getting funded by different people, is there fears that the money won't come to fruition, or do you really believe that it will?
A mixture of both.
One moment one way and one moment another.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that comes up is to go, I'm tremendously buoyed by every response to the questionnaire, and those are the peaks, along with when I've received donations, and maintaining or sustaining that sense of, okay, this is terrific, this is on the right track, people are seeing the value in this, whether it be monetarily in a donation or in their experience via the questionnaire. This is something that has legs, you know. But when that doesn't happen, then the thought that, well, this is not something that is what you think that it is. So that sometimes needs to be dealt with.
Does that make you feel like you want to quit sometimes, or that the project will end up just wasting away?
Wasting away rather than I wouldn't just outright quit.
Right.
I would not do that. But
So what I know Lori wants to know is, how does that make you feel? What are the emotions? What are the emotions around that? Because Lori is the queen at keeping our nervous system smooth. That's one of the things that we do here.
Little anxiety producing.
Okay, this is yours, Lori.
Yeah, that anxiety, it's the same thing we were talking about before. It's the anxiety, the concern around, are these people going to respond to the questionnaire, and how is that going to go? Oh no, everything could fall apart here if I don't get the interviewees, right? And so that concern, I was saying, it puts us into a place where we're operating from our survival brain. Our survival brain has no good ideas. It is not our prefrontal cortex is the place where we have imagination and solutions, and where we're willing to think outside the box and able to see the direction that we want to take. And so this is the same exact thing. And so our work often goes back to, really that foundational understanding that if we're going to do something big and bold and really fulfill our purpose, live as our greatest selves, we have to be operating from our most evolved self, right? And our whole brain. And so, yeah, those money thoughts, I mean, that's a big deal. Again, we're talking about something practical. This actually is a very important piece. Couple things, that you want to recognize. Of course, you're going to have these feelings when it's been, a week or two and there's been nobody offering any support, or when you haven't seen an interview in a while, of course you're going to have the thoughts. The question is, what do we do when we get into that space? We do not want to be, we don't have to be perfect with it. We don't have to fear like, oh no, I had a doubt, the whole thing's going to get shut down now, right? It's okay that we have doubts. The question is, how effective are we in recognizing, oh, here are those fear thoughts. I know they don't help me. I know that I want to operate from my greatest self, which has the capability to create anything. So how do I move myself back into my connected space, my calm space? And that's going to look a little bit different for everybody. But, certainly want to think about the things that ground you in your body. We teach a whole somatic experiencing practice that helps people release that a lot of the fears and the anxiety so that they can be connected with their greatest self. Maybe for you, that's getting in some water, right? And reconnect, going to watch some surfers, watching something on TV. Maybe there's a filmmaker, a documentary maker that really inspires you and watching that, or some simple things, some mantras that you have created for yourself. And I think for you, it just is so clear to me that this is not even really your project. You are the brilliance of it right now, right? But this belongs to the universe. It has literally asked you, right, to come forth and do this. And so you can relax that you don't have responsibility for it. Doesn't that sound crazy? It's like, wait a minute, if I walked away from this, if you walked away from this, somebody else would do it because it has been born and it wanted to be born through you. And I think that is one of the most powerful frame of minds that we can have when we're pursuing a love project, is the remembrance that I don't have to have responsibility for this. All I have to do is show up and listen, stay connected, because when I'm connected with myself, my authentic self, my greatest self, the universe is communicating with me and telling me what's the next step. What is the solution here? So my only job, stay connected. And everything else will take care of itself. And so when I get bogged down, and believe me, and yeah, of course, right? We created this whole new academy because we took and saw like everything that was working, that wasn't working for people, and said, all right, we got to start over. We got to create something from the foundational level that includes everything. We're going to pretty much, get rid of the old ways that people have been doing creation and all of that, because we now have, exactly what works. So we have to build this thing from the ground up. So of course we have our times where it's like, we're not there yet. But we know that this whole project of ours, just like yours, is a love project. And we're not responsible for it. All we have to do is show up in our connected space. So when you think of that, when you have those moments where it's like, oh no, things aren't going, or it's been 2 weeks or whatever. Oh, well, thank goodness I don't have responsibility for all of this. What I need to do is make sure I'm connected. Are there any things for you right now that that really connect you with your brilliance and keeps that inspiration all fired up?
Can I say one thing that I'd like to toss in here?
Yeah.
And that is, when you get like at the 2-week mark or something where there's stillness or you haven't heard from somebody, Lori was talking about, the universe has this, whether you're doing this or not. We talk about conspiring with the universe, playing with the universe. Get in that playful mood and just go, okay, come on, either God, universe, creator, source, whatever you call it, come play. I'm ready to play. Let's bring the next one in. And as you do this, you're opening up that space again. When there's lightness there, there's an open fluidity. And so that's the beauty when everything starts to move again. So when there's a halt, you can bring in that smoothness through you. And since you are the creator of this and it's coming through you right now, allow that to flow. It's about keeping the fear away. And that's the most fantastic part, is to be able to stand tall and understand that you can move and have that fluid because you've experienced it before. Any of the energies or whatever that you've experienced that have been good, that can propel you forward, bring that back, sit in that space for a few minutes of what it feels like and move that through you. And you'll be back on your track moving forward. It's about surrendering to the moment, what's going on. It's not about yelling and screaming at yourself. It's about being light and airy. And it's all about that fun, right? That's what propels us to create. That's what gets our stuff done.
That's true.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to say, me and I were talking a lot today about, connecting to universe and stuff. And I just want to say for anybody, I don't know if you're thinking to yourself either universe stuff, that's not my thing. Like, I don't know about that. I don't mess with that, whatever. let me just tell you that it doesn't matter whether you're thinking about it in terms of the universe or whether you're thinking about it in terms of your emotions, because it's the same thing. If your emotions and you're connected to your passion and your good feelings, then you are connected with the brilliance, right? The prefrontal cortex, all of your capability, number one. And because of the good feeling emotion like Mia's talking about that you're experiencing, you are seeing things differently. You're perceiving things differently. You could be, if you're in that fear space, in that survival, you have blinders on, you are literally seeing a foot in front of you. You don't know who could help you. You don't have any ideas because you're just so stuck here, right? In that fear space. And when you let go of that fear space and you're in that flow and that lightness and that playfulness that Mia is talking about, you see everything. You're like, there's an idea. Hey, there's that person that I know. I bet they could help me. Oh, I totally forgot about the possibility of this or whatever. So regardless of where you think it's coming from, the most important thing is for you to be in that connected space. And that's really all you need to worry about. So whether we label it like, you're connected to the emotions, the universe, whatever, you in connection with your greatest self is really the only thing we need to worry about. So what puts you in connection with your highest, greatest self, Tony? What are some of the things?
Riding my bike, swimming,
Oh, I bet.
sometimes just walking, and even walking the dog will give a fresh perspective on things. And you're right, when I am connected, then I get those great oh yeah, what about this? Or that's very inspiring.
Absolutely. Do you have a mantra that's kind of carrying you through this? Because that can be powerful too, especially when we combine it with things and we're thinking about it a few times a day and really letting it be our bring us back to our foundational why.
Even if it's I'm a fantastic filmmaker and I'm getting this project done, something simple even.
Absolutely. And sometimes the simpler the better. Like this project is important. This project brings voice to so many people. I'm so happy to be its leader. Those
maybe people want to know about this.
Yeah. And I'll say for myself, like someone who I've never known a surfer, I've not lived on the coast, whatever, but for you to explain, not only, thinking about it from that perspective of the artistry and also from the diverse people, like that just totally speaks to me. So if this project can make me super excited about, what it's going to look like, I really do think it has huge appeal across many different genres of people. So yeah.
Well, thank you for that. That's very, very encouraging in itself. Thank you, Lori.
Yeah, absolutely. So we always kind of come back to these are questions, and this is a brief session where we kind of explored a couple of things with you, but the Greatest You Academy is the place where all of the different pieces come together. And maybe somebody says, I don't have a love project. I don't know what I want to do. All I know is I wake up in the morning, I'm like, another day like this, right? So the Academy is really for everyone, people with a vision and wanting to make sure that they push through it, people that don't know what their vision is yet, but wanna understand, how do I get connected with it? And so we so much appreciate you coming and sharing and inspiring us, and hopefully you're inspiring other people. And when they see, dang, Tony is devoting his life to something that spoke to his heart, like that's a thing, people really do that, that's okay, I could think of that. I mean, this interview is just going to be you know, not only thinking about it from terms of the film, but just because you're somebody who is willing to be open to ideas. And so I appreciate you for being here. And
Yeah, thank you.
definitely,
Is-
yeah, just want to encourage people, you know, that are watching. This is for you too. Like, we can all be like Tony, you know, and give hold of our love project and hold on to it and persevere forward. And me and I would love to support you all in that as you go forward. So
Is there any other questions you have, Tony, before we say goodbye?
I can't think of anything. It's been wonderfully inspiring and great to be able to talk to more people and make them aware of my vision.
Good.
yeah, and we'll post the GoFundMe link along with the video for today, just in case somebody is like, you know, just really wants to line up with that vision and everything. So that'll be fun.
Very fun.
Yeah. Good luck. I can't wait to hear more about how this works out, who you find to help you with the interviewees, and I just know it's going to be somebody that is looking for this opportunity for them, and that's an exciting thing to think about too. Yeah.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for joining us, and remember to come back for another Tuesday talk in the love seat. We love to do this. And anything else, Lori?
I don't think so. It's been super fun. And like I said, I can't wait to come back, you know, a few months from now and find out what the progress is. And
would you like to, it's okay with me, I think we should. Would you like to just mention really quick your it's yours, but the challenge that's coming up?
Which challenge is coming?
yeah, the challenge we're in we just finished day 2.
Oh, okay.
Of the challenge. Yeah. And so this challenge is it's habit changing, right? For people who want to have patterns with food in their body that are not serving them. And so I can certainly put a link to that too, because we have the recordings. It's only day 2. So we have the recordings from day 1 and day 2. Everybody watching this video and you know, recognizing that they'd like to do some habit changes around their food and body, absolutely would jump in and be part of that community. It's been really fun. We have an engaged audience of people who I think, you know, are building a community like, yes, I'm not stuck in these habits that I've
talked to people in your groups, and it's really life-changing, more than I've ever heard of any other system or time that people have had together.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it immensely. So I would love to get as many people as would serve in there. So yes, we'll post some things today in the group and always keep you up to speed on the good things. And you try them on and see what you feel like would best serve your needs. We've got lots coming out of our press room. I don't know what to call it.
Out of our stuff.
Yeah.
Out of our temple, we call the academy. So
exactly. We've been
beautiful.
Listening and hearing and creating for the things that people are saying, you know, we need to help and support.
Right. Exactly. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tony, for being in the love seat. And thank you, everyone, for stopping by. We'll see you soon.
I'm inspired.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Okay.